Hi everyone, it's Miss Mariah here today, wondering if maybe you are starting to miss being at school a little bit. School's been out for a few weeks now. You haven't gotten to see your friends at your locker or in your class, see your teacher. So today I brought some book recommendations that are perfect for you if you're feeling that way. These are all books that are set in schools, so they're different school stories. First one we have is The Size of the Truth by Andrew Smith. So when Sam Abernathy was 4 years old, he fell into a well. And while he was down there, he got pooped on by an armadillo named Bartleby. The only problem is that Sam doesn't remember any of this. He knows that he was in the well because it's a huge story. It made his town famous for a while. Everyone still wears t-shirts that say "Pray for Sam," but he has no recollection of what actually happened while he was down there until the 8th grade. So Sam is also very smart. So only a couple weeks into starting middle school, as a 6th grader, Sam gets bumped up 2 grades. So now he is a very small 11-year-old 8th grader. Now at Dick Dowling Middle School, there's another 8th grader who doesn't belong. James Jenkins is a 14-year-old and very big second-time 8th grader. So Sam is convinced that James is at least partially to blame for him falling into that well 7 years ago, and he's been terrified of him ever since. And so now, not only does Sam have to be in the same grade as James Jenkins, they're in the same PE class, and their lockers are right next to each other. So while Sam is busy trying to avoid getting murdered by this scary James Jenkins, he actually begins to learn some surprising things about James that don't fit in with the image that Sam had of him in his head. But still, a Sam Abernathy and James Jenkins friendship is just about as unlikely as the friendship of a 4-year-old boy who was stuck in a well and a talking armadillo who likes pretending he's a unicorn and pooping on people. Check out The Size of the Truth. Another middle school book is The Science of Breakable Things. So Natalie is in 7th grade, and everything has started to change for her this year. Her mom stopped going to work. Natalie thinks she lost her job, and now her mom's spending all of her time locked in her bedroom, and even when she is around, she never really seems to be paying any attention. Meanwhile, at school, Natalie is supposed to come up with a question for her science class that she can take through the scientific process. But the only question that Natalie really cares about is how to fix her mom. So when she's unable to come up with a question for class, her science teacher suggests that she enter the annual egg drop competition. The egg drop competition is when you drop an egg from a building in some kind of creation you made and hope that it doesn't break. So of course, Natalie is joined in this endeavor by her best friend Twig, and later the smartest kid in the class, Dari. So as this team works together, their friendship grows and changes. But will their egg survive that 3-story drop? I'll have to read it to find out. This book is available on Overdrive, so you can read it on there. All right. Now, I have another one that might be good for Poetry Month. I talked about some novels in verse earlier this month. This is Locomotion by Jacqueline Woodson. Lonnie Collins Motion, aka Locomotion, is in 5th grade, and in 5th grade, they learn about poetry. So Lonnie keeps a book of poems that he writes for his assignments that are assigned by his teacher, Miss Marcus, but he also starts writing in it just to speak about his life. When Lonnie was 7 years old, his mama and daddy died in a fire. After that, he and his sister got put into foster care, where eventually they got separated. Lily got a new mama who didn't want a boy, and Lonnie goes to live with Miss Edna, who he didn't really like at first, but grows to love. So we get to see the 5th grade school year play out through Lonnie's poetry book, as he learns about haikus and sonnets, as he makes new friends, and as he tries to reunite with his sister Lily. This one is also available on Overdrive for you to read. And then, last but not least, is The Next Great Paulie Fink by Allie Benjamin. Welcome to The Next Great Paulie Fink, the only search competition to find Mitchell School's new 7th grade prankster. Let's meet the contestants. First is Gabby, who is obsessed with reality TV shows. Then we have Timothy and Tommy, the twins who love to fight and wrestle. Henry is the smart one who's always carrying a book around. Willow, Lydia, and Sam are an otherwise unlikely group of friends who bonded over a mythical role-playing game. Yumi is the edgy one who's always playing the ukulele. Diego is the class jock, especially when it comes to soccer. And Fiona is the picture of girl power in a pantsuit. And now it's time to introduce the judge, Caitlin Breen. So on her first day of school, Caitlin walks into an outraged class because someone named Paulie Fink isn't there. All any of her new classmates care about is, where is Paulie Fink and what happened to him? That isn't the only problem with this new school either. Everything about it is weird to Caitlin. From the building, the school is inside of an old mansion that people used to live in, to the goats outside that are the 7th grade's responsibility to care for, to the assigned tables for lunch. They all have to sit at assigned tables, one person from each grade, and especially the way the other 7th graders act. None of them follow the middle school rules that Caitlin learned at her old school. But when Caitlin is chosen to be the judge for the 7th grade competition to find the next great Paulie Fink, things start to change for her. Does she figure out how to fit in at this new school? And more importantly, who will be the next great Paulie Fink? So I hope you'll check some of those books out, and they might give you that feeling of being back in school. Thanks.